If you are like myself and you are a married man with children and you have a relationship with Jesus, then you've already won the lottery ticket. You've already done it. Like, and you have to really be able to find rest in that. You know, there's a reason why Jesus is called the Prince of Peace. There's a reason why we call him our Savior. It's because we can't save ourselves. Nothing on this planet is fit for what our soul is longing for. And for a long time, business, just like any good thing, the enemy can use good things and turn them into bad things. Like, for example, like Jesus is the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to our humanity. But then you have like cults, right? Or like money is a great thing. You should make a lot of it. But then you have greed, right? So there's good things that the Lord has given us, but they've been tainted by a fallen world, and business is one of those things. And I'm coming around to really realizing this in my walk and in my relationship with Jesus and in my life. It's like business is a beautiful thing, but it becomes a bad thing when it becomes your idol, when it becomes what you identify with. And when I got married and when I had a kid, like I found myself at odds with like the life that I'd built, because it didn't make sense in this new context anymore because of the vision that I've always had for myself as a father. And I was lucky enough to have a wonderful father, and he's a very present father. I should bring him onto the channel sometime if you want me to. Let me know in the description. Would love to like interview my dad, you know, or something like that, just for the channel or something. But like I had a great father. It's like I just feel like I have these huge shoes to fill, and I was like, man, I'm playing this life of like just serving myself and serving my own interests all the time. And it just didn't work. And that's what business was it was just me trying to reach my goals for me all the time. And it became, there's nothing wrong. Let me make it clear. There's nothing wrong with pursuing business goals. Obviously, I have big business goals. Like, you know, my goal is that this year we're at $500,000 a month across my offers and businesses. And we're very likely going to do it. We're pacing it very strong. So, and that's like a goal that I have. But the thing is, it's like, it doesn't consume my soul, you know? And people are convinced that it has to. And I've been toiling with this for a long time, because it's like, how do you balance being obsessed with something that you feel called to? And what's the line where you begin to know that it becomes an idol for you? What's the line where you begin to know that this has taken the seat of God? This has taken the seat of my faith. And I think I'm coming around to figuring out what it is. And here's what it is. It's fear. It's, what do you fear the most? Do you have more fear of being out of touch with your Creator and of being on the wrong side of your Creator? Like in your body, nervous system, real fear, like you can actually feel it. Do you have fear of God, or are you living in fear that your goals won't happen? What do you fear the most? Because what you fear the most is kind of what you claim is like most real, right? And what you fear the most has the most like power over you. And this is why Scripture talks about how the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And I think, so for the longest time, for me, when I got married and I had a kid, I got more afraid of losing my business. It was like, oh my gosh, it had never occurred to me, like, what if I lose my business? Which is just such a silly thing. Like, literally just make more content, sell more clients. It's like not hard. You run some ads, whatever. Like, but at the time it felt so real, you know? And it felt so real, and it's so not real. But at the time it felt so real, and I realized that I was more afraid of like letting my wife down, or I just had this idea because I saw my dad go through some things when I was about 16, 17, 18, where literally, and I won't, you know, give any details because things are still, frankly, still settling. But he got into this relationship with this guy, and the guy was a total fraudster, and he's in jail now. And I'm like, holy cow, like that kind of thing can, like, it opened up a whole new realm of possibilities of like what can happen in business. And it's like, it felt like I was playing with fire, and it was like, I don't want to have millions of dollars in the bank, because it's like, I have this relationship with that of like, that could put me in jail somehow, you know, like, because the guy that he was in business with, I actually looked up to him, and he felt like somebody that, like, I could like model after, like the way that he moved and the way that he talked about his family and stuff. And so it really damaged my heart a lot to see that happen, and to see the repercussions for my dad too. So I started to kind of have this relationship with business and family of like, this is very, very, very risky. Like, you could literally accidentally talk your way up into ending up like in jail. And then you have all these people in our industry that are getting like dragged by the FTC and stuff. And I'm like, shoot, that might happen. So I had all these things starting to happen. But what I started to realize was, what you fear is what you worship. That's what I started to realize. So I was worshiping at the wrong altar. And this is what, like, the lay public, the common people don't like the idea of having a fearful relationship with your creator, because we live in a very narcissistic culture. It's very ego-driven. We don't like the idea of surrender. We don't like the idea of submission. You know, women have a hard time with the idea of submitting to husbands. Husbands have a hard time with the idea of like truly submitting to God. We have a hard time with like authority, you know, the government, all this stuff. Like, we hate authority, basically. Like, we hate being told what to do. We don't want to be afraid of things, you know? But the truth is, we're all afraid of something, and what you choose to fear is what you're choosing to worship. And so I would say that the difference between moving in business and keeping it in its place in your heart is, what do you fear? What do you fear? Because guys, eternity is at stake here. Like, eternity is at stake. And if you don't remember that every moment of every day, and you're living in this state of mind of like, you know, what can I get now? How am I going to grow the business next month? How am I going to grow the business even this year? Like, 1 year is like not even a big thing in eternity. And I just think that like entrepreneurs are living in this little bubble. And I think, quite frankly, honestly, I think I'm shadow banned on YouTube because I talk about this stuff. I'll be honest. I honestly think that I am, but I don't even care, because I needed this message, and I think others need this message as well. It's like, dude, this doesn't freaking matter. Like, business is fun, and I love business, and I love making a bunch of money, and I love helping people make a bunch of money, and I love helping rich people get richer. You know, I've got a client right now who just reported that this year should be his first 8-figure year. They're pacing their first 8-figure year this year, which is insane. And it's like, dude, that's amazing. But at the same time, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, not in terms of where your heart should be. It matters in the same way that your health matters. Like, it matters. Take care of it. Do it. Don't neglect it. Build great things. Your health matters. Your family matters. Your finances matter. Your relationships, your friendships matter. I'm not saying this nihilistic nothing matters. What I'm saying is, what do you ultimately fear? What is the deepest, most heart level fear that you're holding with you as you move about life? That's how you know what your God is what you fear. And wow, you guys, that was such a realization. And it's taken me a long time to kind of get to that place, because I didn't know. And some of you have been paying attention to me. I'm kind of on this like soul searching journey while still kind of like managing the businesses and stuff. And once I synthesize all this stuff and I kind of figure out all this stuff in my head, I'm sure that I would just be breaking barriers down. But I kind of just like don't want to, because I'm still kind of figuring stuff out in my head, you know. And I just want to kind of document that journey and share that, because I'm a young man, and everybody who watches my channel pretty much is a young man as well. And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and claim to be something that I'm not. Like, there's things that I just genuinely don't have figured out. Like, if you have a coaching or agency or consulting business that you want to get to 6 figures and multiple 6 figures a month, got you, dude. Can do that in like 60 days flat, no problem. If you've got a proven offer, let's go. Like, I do that for fun, bro. It's like so easy. But the real stuff, it's like, on the other side of accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish in business, I was left with like more questions than answers, because I'd attached my soul to the thing. And that's where I realized I'd gone wrong, is that what I feared the most was failure in business. What I feared the most is like, you know, my bank account going beneath a certain balance and stuff. And that's what I was told I was supposed to fear the most, you know? And, you know, all my mentors were like, you have to, that's basically what they said. And now I realize that that's just incredibly untrue. It's so untrue that it's actually like, I would say you're inviting people to worship at like a false altar when you teach that kind of a worldview. And it's like, if you're a Christian man and you're in business and you're like a coach, you need to be, I would challenge you in saying that you really need to help your clients understand that like, it's not worth their heart. Like, business is not worth your heart. I've got a friend right now, and I won't name his name, but you know, he went on to do incredibly well. And he was literally doing like $1 million months and putting a ton of money in the bank. And he's sitting on millions of dollars right now, liquid. And dude, the guy's like miserable, like completely miserable, like really figuring out, like, okay, that wasn't worth 5 years of sacrifice. And I don't judge them, because it's like, that's what the world tells you to do, you know? So I think now that I'm 25 and I'm moving into my later 20s and soon to be my 30s, it's like, business is just a game that I play, and that's all it freaking is. And it pays the bills, but moreover, it gives my wife and I the space to focus on other things that are not more important, but are important and aren't worth sacrificing. That's the thing, is I don't think business is allowed to be this thing that you passively do, because people will sense that. If you like do a lackluster job for your clients or a lackluster job for your team, they're gonna feel that. And I have definitely, like, I got caught up in, oh, business doesn't matter, my faith matters the most, and then my business suffered, and then people could feel it, and like people left and clients weren't happy and stuff. And then it was like, well, actually, no, like, I can't do that because I'm letting people down. That's not faithful of me. Like, I can't let people down, you know what I mean? And so it's just been this balance, and I finally figured out, it's like, what do I fear? What do I fear? Bro, I could be $1 billion in debt. That's not even close to just the flick of the finger of the judgment of God. It's like, it doesn't even come close. It's not even in the same ballpark. It's not the same league. It's not even the same universe. It's like, what do you fear? You know? And so I just think a lot of entrepreneurs, they fear their business going away. They fear, what if this happens? And it's like, that's where I think the Lord will correct you. And I think it's where he corrected me, and I think it's where he kind of put me in a place where I had to figure that out, because and the thing that really sparked it for me was I was just so emotionally unavailable for my wife. And she just confronted me one day and was like, yeah, like, I'm doing everything myself. Like, I'm doing the kid myself, I'm taking care of myself, you're hardly here. And then even when we had a kid, when she found out she was pregnant, she was apologizing to me because she knew that the most important thing to me was like the business and all the time that I could put into it. And it's just like, dude, it doesn't work. Like, doesn't work. And what's so cool is when you truly submit to the Lord and you say, all right, Lord, I trust your plan for my life. Like, I genuinely trust your plan for my life. He opens up these levers and he's like, all right, dude, here's how you're going to work 2 hours a day and get 10 times more done. He finally softens your heart and gets you to see what you can do that gets you further and is more sustainable for you and is just better for you. And you might not make more money, you know, but you certainly will have a life that the Lord wants you to have. And it's like, I just think that that's way more powerful. And I think that that's a way better thing. And I mean, look, guys, like, it's a frustrating reality that we live in a lost world and people are looking for things to cling to. And business makes a lot of sense to cling to. A lot of very logical people end up saying, well, I just got to make a lot of money because the world runs on money. And like, if I have a lot of money, then I have freedom. And if I have freedom, then I have mobility. And mobility gives me the options to do other things, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, yeah, but like, you're going to die. And it's like super foolish to just not think about that. You know, it's like so foolish. And I think something about turning 25, it's like halfway to 50 and halfway through my 20s. And I have a new kid. And my business is completely rehauled. It's like all these things. And it's just got me in this place of really looking for what the next thing is. And it's like, I'll be honest, like, I'm just a guy. Like, I don't have the answers to everything. I'm really, really good in like one domain, you know? Like, I'm extremely proficient at what I do, at helping people start and grow coaching, consulting, and agency businesses, because I have had massive, outstanding success in every single one of those arenas. You know, I threw together a new coaching business, and that thing's at a 7-figure run rate like a few months in, and it's like I can do that, like, no problem. It's so easy, but it doesn't feel, it's not the thing. And I honestly just think you have to just go through it to realize that. So I don't even think people are going to listen to me, because you have to feel it yourself. But what do you fear? You know, that's how you know. That's how you know that you're onto something. What do you fear? Where is your heart at night? Like, what are you staying up worried about? You know, are you worried about like paying your team? Are you worried about like, what if a competitor catches up? Are you worried about like a new person who just popped up in your space and is doing better than you? Are you worried about like how this next event that you're doing is gonna go? Are you worried about, what are you worried about? You know what I mean? Like, That's how you know where your heart is. So, yeah. There you go.